marks in the mud, and they're very difficult to see, and of course the sun would disappear as I was trying to show you them. They're these marks here and here and there and all around this particular muddy wallow. And it's not a track quiz because I don't know the answer, although Herbie's got his hand right up in the air. We'll get Herbie to tell us a bit later, once everybody's had a chance to guess. Herbie's standing there like this. I don't know. So, track discussion as to what those scrape marks are. There's actually more. I was trying to work out how to get to them. There's more of them, and I'm going to just run around them. Debbie, you want to know if it's a squirrel? Herbie? No, not a squirrel. So you would see, Debbie, it's not a bad guess. It would be a good guess to suggest it could be perhaps the squirrel's tail dragging on the ground, but you'd see the feet. You'd see the tiny little dots. Oh, I wish I hadn't done that. You'd see the tiny little dots in the mud. Connor, you say giant land snail? Definitely not. I don't think a giant land snail would manage to actually glide across the surface. It's a lot muddier than I think it is. So, what is it? It's not what I thought initially. Shall I tell you what I thought? I thought perhaps an elephant had been standing in here and sweeping its tail up and down in the mud. That's what I thought at first, that perhaps it had sunk down into this mud wallow, because I don't quite know how deep this is. But I mean, an elephant's tail can reach down quite low, and I thought, or, rhino's tail maybe, something with bristly hair on the end of it. That was what I thought. Mark, you say a porcupine. Again, if it were a porcupine, we'd see its tracks. And I've shown you everything. I haven't hidden anything from you. There are no tracks surrounding it. That's what confused me. There's no footprint leading up to that track. There is something, though. Christopher says a mud wasp. That was quite a good guess. A mud wasp, it could well have been a mud wasp. That was a really very, very good guess. A wasp gathering mud for, oh goodness, I'm sliding into the mud here. I'm going to say not, Christopher, just for the shape of it, and also because I think Herbie knows exactly what it is, and I want to see if we can get a guess from Herbie. I want to try and get you the one last piece of evidence that I can see, but it's in the mud and I don't really want to go into it. It's over there. Oh, that doesn't work. There is the final clue to... This could end terribly. Here is the final clue to the answer to this mystery. Sorry, just... Marisha, you say a three-banded plover or a water thickney. We are getting very, very close to the answer. Herbie, what do you think it is? She's right. Yeah, it's a bird swooping down and going down towards the mud and picking up bits of mud, or... Yeah. Awesome. So there we go. I'm going to discuss more with Herbie about how he drew that conclusion and exactly how it was that he decided what we were looking at. While we do, let's go back to Tristan, who's found something very large. Gives it away.
Indeed, Jamie, we have the largest of the large. So there we have a beautiful elephant. She's just absolutely loving this grass. She's been sitting there taking huge trunkfuls and just shoving it in. Now you can see she'll eat mostly the tops of the grass, although she's managed to get the stalks there. But generally what they'll do at this time of the year, because of all the seeds that are on the grass at the moment, typically what they do is they take the grass and they'll eat all the top sections, because that's where all the minerals and oils are, and that's what they'll feed off. Now there was two other little ones with her that I think are just in front. Yep, there they are. So they're also just feeding along gently, and See, there she comes into the frame. I'm sure there is more of them. We kind of got you as they were tailing in off the airstrip. We unfortunately had to leave the Solanas because we had a few technical glitches. I couldn't hear Kirsty very well, so if I don't have the voices in my head, it's not ideal. But luckily enough, we bumped into these guys shortly afterwards, which is good. And I was saying to Dave today, we haven't had too many really decent elephant sightings in the last couple of days, or at least I haven't. They've all been kind of quick and into thick bush, and so really nice to see this lot gently feeding their way along and really taking their time about it. And it was quite entertaining, that particular elephant there, just before you guys came across to us, had a whole tree or bush draped over its head. You can actually see on top there's still one stick left there, so that's the remnants of the whole bush that was on top of it. But at one point it looked like it was wearing a wig. There was this green foliage hanging down on the sides. It was highly entertaining. We were having a good chuckle at them. But we managed to pull out most of it, but still one branch that's just holding on. They really must be loving this greenery around this airstrip. It's so much beautiful green grass, and it's because of the runway, they tend to get quite a bit of runoff on the edge of airstrips, and so the plant life tends to grow really well on the fringes, and so that's maybe why they're eating so much of the grass. Excuse me. Alright, so we're going to just try and go around and see if we can follow them along and see if we can catch up with the rest of the herd. So maybe a little bit of hay fever from all the grass seeds. Could be a bit of the dust as well. We haven't had too much rain this week, so the roads are a bit dusty, and could be that. But hopefully it's not hay fever. I'm not a huge fan of hay fever, so hopefully it will disappear. Seems like it's just the one sneeze. So by the looks of the tracks, it's only a small little group of them. I was just looking now as they came across. It looks like it's just those three, maybe another one that could be with them, because there was another big track in there. They often like to come along here and then they go into this thicket off to the side here where there's lots of nice vegetation to feed on. Just going to see if we can find our way in here. Unfortunately, there's a big gutter or ridge, so it's not going to be very easy to get in here, but let's just try in front. No, that's not going to work. Back we will have to go. So they've done a big sort of gutter just to drain the road really well. The section that we're in now, the road has got quite a clay underside to it, so it's quite difficult to keep this road in good condition. So they've created this gutter just in order to keep the road in good condition, which is good. So we'll just have to utilize this other little side road, and I'm sure we can make a plan to get in from here. So it looks like we got a fairly open little gap, but they were feeding quite close by here, so I don't want to surprise them. So I can hear them feeding here, just can't see them just yet. It's amazing how such large animals can just disappear. In all likelihood, it's because they've gone into this big thicket here in front of us. Dave, you see anything?
Not yet.
So Dave can't see anything either. They were right here until we started reversing. It seems like they've done a disappearing act on us. I can't see any of them. You can see though it is very, very dense, so not an easy place to negotiate. So I think we're actually going to leave them there. I don't think we're going to carry on through this thicket. I don't think there is actually a way through this thicket. Alright, so while we do this and try and see if maybe we can get another visual, we're going to go back to Jamie and see if she's got an answer to her mud and her track mystery.
I do indeed have the answer to my track mystery, and somewhere out there the person who initially taught me the different tracks of the bush is cringing, because Herbie and I forgot the fundamental tenet, which is take a look at the bigger picture. So I owe you all an apology. Not an apology, it was a discussion, not really an answer. So we discussed afterwards, and Herbie's idea was that it was birds hawking down to catch insects, and that was what was creating the scrapes. We then had a discussion about the mud wasp to see whether or not the mud wasp was a possibility, because I thought, well, I don't actually know what mud wasp tracks look like. And then we decided no, because the mud wasp would leave tiny little dots in the mud, but then I thought, well, might have expanded or contracted. Anyway, the long story short is that Wiem has quite cleverly put us both in our place by pointing out that it's just the way that the mud has dried and the wind has blown the water underneath, which is relatively embarrassing, but absolutely, now that I look at it, absolutely correct. It's like what am I trying to think of? I don't know, it's like a hot drink getting a skin on top of it if you've used too much creamer or something. The way that sort of folds in away from the liquid. That's what it's done, essentially. So Kirsty says Wiem is now a black belt in tracking. I know that this morning there was a discussion about the various tracking levels. Wiem, you are now a black belt, which is a totally new qualification to me.
Junior black belt or senior black belt?
Senior black belt, absolutely senior black belt. So Wiem is now a senior black belt, and I owe you all an apology for an impossible. Well, it was a tracking discussion, and it's the same. The number of times I've asked the track of grass blowing onto the road and sweeping away the soil on the road, and asked that as a tracking quiz, and the sort of perfect, it does it in a perfect semicircle, that I really should have got this one. Definitely should have got this one. Now we have solved the mystery of the mud. Let us go across to Tristan, who apparently is a black belt in refinding elephants.
I'm not so sure a black belt in finding elephants is that much to brag about. They are quite large and do make a lot of noise, so not the hardest thing to find. Oh, and just going to the toilet there. Lovely. But yeah, we just came round and onto the road, and it seems like they were coming towards the road, so not a very difficult find, but we'll take it nonetheless. Now, it seems that they are going to go deeper into the bush again, so we're going to try and see if we can just get round. It's actually a little bit more than I thought. When we came down here, there was a couple babies that I saw as well, so it seems like there is a few more of them. If we go in here somewhere, we should be able to hug this drainage line. I did do it the other day following a leopard, so it is possible. Just got to find the right route. Luckily, it's also in an area where there's lots of open little gaps that from the drought this area got hit quite hard, and the Ellies had an absolute field day here, and so they made lots of little paths through here. So we should be here somewhere. So you can see it's quite undulating terrain, so it's why it's difficult to see them, because they go down into these little dips and then you don't pick them up that easily. And they also are actually quite well camouflaged too, so they should be somewhere here in front of us. Drop into this little dip here is where they were going, so they should be somewhere here, unless they've changed direction again and gone back the way we've just come, which is quite possible with elephants. They do that from time to time. So this is where that one was feeding, and straight in front of us here. And have no idea where they've gone again. Seems like they are pulling disappearing acts on us left, right and center here. Like I say, it is perfect terrain for them to actually hide in if they wanted to. There's a few thickets that have got quite big trees, and so great place for them to go. Also, it's gotten quite overcast, and so the light is quite sort of dingy, and it really helps with their skin color to actually blend in quite well. There they are, they're up ahead of us. They just moved a little bit further than I first thought, and it looks like there is a tiny little baby with them. So I'm just going to drop down here. We should be able to get a view of them. There we go, look at the little one. Very cool. So I should be able to see the little baby there. I'm not going to push too hard, just don't want them to move too much. But just in the middle of the herd is a tiny little baby that's busy flapping its ears, trying to stay cool. And you can see they've kind of, all the adults are behind, so they know that we're a potential threat, and that's why they put themselves between us and that little baby. And the baby is completely oblivious and is not taking too much notice at all, and quite frankly neither are the adults. You can see they're all very, very relaxed feeding. They in fact didn't even turn to look at us when we came in here, so really nice that they've just settled down again. And like I was saying, when we saw the tracks there was another bigger one, and so you can see there's the adults all there. So Kirsty's saying we've had a baby themed drive, and I couldn't agree more. It's lots of little babies. It's been really, really good to see. It's one of the nicest things about this time of the year is that so many little ones around, and it makes it definitely brightens up one's day to see all these little baby animals. They often have a lot of energy, like the little warthog piglets that were running around, and even the little baby Ellies. They seem to have a lot more life and character, and I really, really love baby elephants. So much attitude, and they seem to have this zest for life that not many other animals possess. But that little one is already using its trunk quite well, so it's not a tiny baby. I think just when I saw the small behind, I got a bit excited and thought it was really quite a small one, but now that I can actually see it properly, it's probably already over a year and a half old, and so it's learning to use its trunk already, which would mean that Mom will be quite happy, because Mom won't have to supply nearly as much milk. And so she's getting all the nutrients that she's busy consuming is going to her and not to the little one, so it'll be nice for her. We're just going to try and sneak in behind them a little bit. You can see they're not really too fussed with us as they're walking along. They're not turning to face us in any way. The females are just feeding as they're going, so it is a really quite nice and relaxed herd, this. Just going to see if we can get in here, because it'll be really nice. It's nice and open in front here, lots of space, and isn't that beautiful with all that green grass and beautiful big dark grey elephants that really contrast so nicely against that backdrop. Very pretty scene. Although there is a few bombs being dropped, as every now and then the breeze blows from the Ellies and there's this whiff of gas that they are passing, so it's the only thing that's slightly ruining the ambience of this particular shot, but it is very, very pretty in here. Almost feels like we're closed in. We've got all these trees around us, these big trees that are kind of over the top of us, and then in this little clearing is just these elephants. It's really quite a special feeling being in here with them. And it's pretty spectacular if you ask me. And so as I was saying earlier, that it was quite warm today. Now the clouds have just started to come over and it's breeze has started and it's getting a little bit cooler. But where we are now in this little drainage that we're sitting in, there's very little wind. All these trees are blocking it, and so it is quite warm still inside here, quite humid, and that's why you're seeing those ears working so hard on these elephants. They're trying to cool their bodies down. It's a lot of blood that they have to cool, so it'll take them a few flaps to get all the blood through the body and get it over those veins in the ears and get the wind to pass over that blood and cool it down. But they reckon in a series of a few flaps, so 3 or 4 flaps, that these guys are cooling their body as much as 2 to 3 degrees centigrade, which is pretty incredible when you think of the size of them and I mean how difficult it is to be able to actually cool yourself down. If you think about when we go to hot places, we have to use air cons and lots of power to be able to get ourselves cooler. So amazing that their ears are able to do that. Now, while I'm sitting here, just to the left, I've got some guinea fowls that are alarm calling quite a bit. It could be that maybe these Ellies have disturbed them, but guinea fowl generally are not too worried about that. They might make a noise for a little bit, but these have been going quite a lot since we've been sitting with these elephants. So I wonder if maybe there's not a bird of prey somewhere. But we're definitely going to go and investigate that. You never know. We are in the area for both Shadow and Tingana, so it's always worth investigating when you're in this area. But difficult to tear ourselves away from these Ellies. They're such a beautiful spectacle down here. And you can see, much like the zebras earlier, the tails are really swishing quite a bit. There's still lots of insects flying around this afternoon. It was quite funny when we were with the Salalas, we were watching the flies going actually into the mouth of one of the males and irritating him enormously. So he was getting quite frustrated and lots of shaking of the head and paw to the mouth. And I think the Ellies are suffering the same consequences, unfortunately. But you can see how selective they are with feeding. You would think with all this grass around that they would be able to just use their trunk to take big chunks of it. But you can see she's just selectively feeding. So, Candace, that's quite a relevant question. You want to know why, how Ellies get any nutrition, given that foods pass almost straight through them, like the marulas, like we see in their dung that the marulas are pretty much whole when they come out. Now, in the case of marulas, the thing is with them is that they are actually not interested in the actual flesh of that fruit. A marula doesn't have much flesh. It's pretty much only got lots of liquid and then a very large pip. And so for them, what they're actually after is the liquid. That's what they're trying to get. So all they do is actually just bite on it, and it splits the skin of that fruit, and then all the liquid goes in, and that's where all the sugars and this vitamin C is. And so that's why they don't mind actually if they don't consume that whole thing. The other side of the other plant material that they eat, like leaves and grasses and those kind of things, they do crunch them down, and they will absorb a little bit of nutrients. They reckon that they absorb about 40% of what actually goes in, and the other 60% on the other side. But because of their size and how much distance they can cover because of the size, they tend to be able to find more than enough food to be able to sustain that body. And remember, with them, they're such clever animals that they'll use their trunk and their tusks to be able to dig for food if they can't find food on a surface level, so they can dig up roots and tubers. And then also because of their height, they can reach trees that a lot of the other animals can't reach. So the only other thing that really can reach as high as they can are giraffe. So they pretty much don't have any competition up there. So there's always some sort of food item for them. And even though their digestive system is bad, they do digest about 40%. It's just with the marulas that this outer skin is really tough to digest, and that's why it passes through and doesn't look like it's been eaten. Alright, so while I was waffling on, they've kind of moved away a little bit, so we'll try and just get out of here. And I want to just try and head slowly towards the guinea fowl. The Ellies are also kind of moving in that direction, but I want to see if the guinea fowls are either down on the ground, because if it's a predator that is like a bird of prey, then generally what will happen is the guinea fowls will go under a tree or something like that, and if it's a predator on the ground, then they fly up into the trees. And while we do that, we're going to go across to Brent, who I believe has found one of the Birmingham Boys.
Well, at a vast distance, they are lying about 200 meters to the south of our most southern boundary on Cheetah Plains. There we go, like good male lions, having a snooze. There's apparently 3, although at the moment I can only see 2. Other updates I got from the guys to the south of us is there's tracks of quarantine heading to the north up ahead, and then the sticks were further to the west outside of our Travis area near the boundary. So there we go, Birmingham Boys at a vast distance. I don't think they're going to wake up anytime soon. I'm trying to now decide. I think we're not going to play patience just yet. I want to go see where Quarantine's tracks might have crossed. And hopefully maybe then a little later we'll pop down here and they might start heading to the north. And this is why the Matimbas are in Buffels Hook, and they've snuck through the bottom of Djuma. It's because the Birminghams are here. How many Birminghams were with Tristan? I don't know if he saw any, or was it just the Tsalalas that he saw on Arathusa? And oh no, just the Tsalalas. But I think there is a Birmingham somewhere in the west. I'll see if I can get hold of Tristan just now. But I could only see 2 there, but the guy said there are 3 Birminghams in that area. So there's 3 male lions there. I think there's 1 Birmingham, maybe with the stakes. And that has left that whole northern part of their territory. All the lions are down south. And this is one of the reasons the male lions quite often will split up, so they can cover more territory. So I want to see if these guys come running to the north after those Matimba males. Now, a very big hello to Benjamin from Germany. Hello, Benjamin, who's a brand new viewer. So a big welcome from all of us here at Safari Live, Benjamin. Benjamin would like to know, do lions and leopards get on? Not at all. Lions will kill leopards, and if leopards get the opportunity, they'll kill lion cubs, and vice versa. So all the predators here, they don't hang around in groups. They are all in competition for the same resources to a degree. So they will kill each other if the opportunity arises. Okay, so we start looking for Quarantine's tracks around here. Oh, quickly across to Tristan before his bird flies off and he blames me.
Brent, I would never blame you. How could you say such a thing? Just kidding. I was giving Brent a bit of a hard time the other day about birds, but you can see now, while the guinea fowl were alarm calling, there sits an African hawk eagle. So these guys hunt guinea fowl all the time, and that's why the guinea fowl are alarm calling. Now I only see one at the moment, and generally these are in pairs. And a few days ago, Dave and I actually saw a pair not very far from here at all. So I wonder if maybe the other one isn't on the ground somewhere and maybe has caught one of these guinea fowl, and that's why the guineas are still going crazy. I'm going to see now the elephants are moving in that direction, so maybe we'll see it flush another one out, and that would be quite amazing if we did see it flush it out and it was carrying a carcass. But at this stage it looks like it's just the one adult, and would be very surprising if it was just that one. Like I say, they generally are in a pair. They pair together for life, and this has to be the same pair that we saw the other day. Like I say, the other day we saw them was not even 200 meters from here, so I'm pretty sure it's them. We had the little one was being very cheeky just now, was showing us its ears and making itself look all big and imposing. It was very, very cute. And then Mom just decided it's time to go, and so you can see we are just falling into line. So we're going to be part of the herd and see if we can sneak in behind everybody here. And the hawk eagle stayed nice and still. It hasn't moved. I thought maybe with the approach of the elephants and us it was going to move, but it seems like it's pretty happy on its perch. And they actually generally aren't as relaxed as this, so it's really cool to see it just perched up on the tree. It looks like it might take off now. Let's see. So it's turned away slightly, but isn't that a beautiful view of a beautiful bird? They're one of my favorite eagles. I just love their spotted pattern, and they tend to look so angry with life all the time, which I suppose is pretty much the way most eagles look. They have that very hardened brow line, and they always look like they're very cross. But look at the size of the talons. You can see those massive long claws that come down, and that is what they utilize to grab those guinea fowl. And you can imagine when this bird comes down at speed using gravity as well as aerodynamics, and it hits that guinea fowl with those big claws that just dig in, the guinea fowl really has no chance if they grab them correctly. So pretty incredible weaponry that they've got, and then that sharp beak as well is quite amazing. Very, very, very pretty indeed. Nice. So I'm pretty sure it's going to take off when we go a little bit further forward here. Unfortunately, we're in a bit of a thicket. As you can see, we've got these quarries all around us, and they unfortunately make a little bit of noise when you go through them. The nice thing with the quarry is that the wood itself is so flexible that it just pops right back up again. So going over them like this, while it looks really bad, is actually not too bad at all. Just want to see where the Ellies went. I think they just went straight. It's a kind of little game path that goes through here, so I'm pretty sure this is what the Ellies were following. But we're not going to go bashing through too many more trees. We had such a nice view of those elephants, so I think we're going to leave them there. So Jane, that's a very interesting question, and to be honest, I'm not 100% sure of the answer. Just from experience, I would say that they might have. I mean, I've seen African hawk eagles with a number of kills, but then again, I've seen martial eagles and tawnies, and they've also had a lot. So I don't know. It would probably be yes, just because they can use each other. But if you look at a situation like lions, lion success rate is not generally better than a leopard's. They're pretty similar, and so a leopard is a solitary hunter, yet it's still able to get itself into the right places to hunt, and I would imagine that would be the same for these eagles. Things like martial eagles, which are supreme predators, still do just fine on their own, but it would be really interesting. It would be a study that I think would be quite complicated to achieve, but would be one that would be really, really interesting to see. Like I say, they are very successful. I've seen so many African hawk eagles with kills. They really do make it look quite easy. So it would be a very interesting study. I don't know if anybody has any information out there that can help us out and let us know if there has been any studies, or if anyone actually has the answer to that. Like I say, all these birds and all these predators are so well adapted for their particular lifestyle that, if they weren't successful enough, they wouldn't survive. So you would tend to think that all of them manage just fine, but whether or not they're more successful, I'm not sure. Alright, so while we make our way out into the sanctity of the road, we're going to go back to Jamie and see how she's doing on her bushwalk.
We're doing beautifully, thank you. Just wandering along, slowly but surely making our way back towards camp, since I think with this cloud cover, the darkness is going to fall a little bit earlier than it has otherwise. Now, the question, of course, is this cloud cover going to bring a storm, or is it not? Here's my answer. That was quite prophetic. This deep, low, booming thunder, as I said that, as I finished that sentence. I don't know. I'm not sure. It feels like the last 3 days have been building up towards a storm. Hopefully it decides to come. The pressure feels like it's changed, and the humidity level has definitely just gone up. So I hope so. No luck, unfortunately, with young Shungile. Herbie and I were just talking about, well, we were just saying that we wonder how many times she watched us walk past her. Just today, morning and afternoon, how many times she's watched people either walk or drive past her, presumably with a little bit of a smirk involved at the same time. I've also been listening to the Game Drive radio and discussing with Herbie what he thinks about the situation with the Matimbas being quite close, by the sounds of it, to the Nkuhumas and their cubs, and whether or not there is any risk there. There is, of course, a risk there, because they're male lions, and male lions, we know the last time the Nkuhumas were seen was very, very close to where the Matimbas are now. Male lions will kill cubs that are not their own. It is a bit of a risky situation, the fact that the Nkuhumas have those cubs so close to the Matimbas, and the Matimbas have just popped out there. What you calling at? There's a go-away bird shouting. I think it's shouting at us. Liam, I can almost see the pool from here. Oh. I don't know. I think it's alarm calling at us. Sorry. Distraction. Trying to figure out what left behind this scat. It doesn't look like mongoose to me. Might be mongoose. I'm going to get a second opinion from Herbie. While I do, let's go and have a look at what aerial predator Tristan has found.
So we're continuing with our bird list and just adding a few more, trying to catch Brent. So this is a beautiful Wahlberg's eagle, and looks quite flashy with his wings all kind of blown out, and looks almost like a runway model with these extra bits hanging all over it. So looking very dapper like that. It's because the breeze is coming from its back, so it's just ruffled up those feathers a little bit and making it seem a little bit odd. But beautiful, beautiful eagle. Now they're also going to be starting to leave us shortly. They've been here for quite a bit. The first ones we started seeing was in August already, so they've spent quite a bit of time here, and most of them would have bred during that time, and their chicks should starting to fledge now and be starting to kind of fly for the first time, and probably in about a month's time they're going to be gone, and they're going to continue their journey back northwards. Now it's absolutely incredible that the chicks that are born here now will be able to navigate their way all the way back to North Africa, into Europe, and as far as Russia, which is absolutely amazing. So it really is incredible that they instinctively know where they're going, even though they've never traveled that distance or traveled that direction. So pretty incredible. Right. But the guinea fowls are still going crazy further away from us now. I wonder if maybe there's something else that's disturbing them. I don't think those guinea fowls that are calling are the same ones that we had here, so it might be worth investigating. It is in a difficult area though. Where they're calling from is in a series of little drainages and sort of dips, and it's probably a really good area actually to go look for shadow, because it's an area that she's utilized a lot in the past as den sites. Just for that reason, because it really is difficult to negotiate. It's really thick in there, lots of trees and lots of big dips and ditches, and really not very friendly for a car at all. So just got one of the commercial vehicles approaching, so I'm just going to say hello to my friend Roy quickly. Hey Roy, you well?
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Good. They're on Manuleti boundary.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Cheers guys. So Roy was just asking me if I had an update on the Matimba boys, and I was just telling him that they up on the Manuleti boundary with Buffalo's Hook. So they really did go quite far last night. From Elephant Plains to where they are is a long way. I wonder if they're not almost becoming like a Mvula now. They've probably been chased out of their normal areas, and now they're going to just become nomadic and hang around their general kind of home range that they had when they were dominant, and try and just avoid other males. Alright, so we're going to carry on, and I'm going to go and investigate these guinea fowl alarm calling and see if there's any sign of shadow. And while we do that, we're going to go back to Jamie and see how the bushwalk is going.
Well, fingers crossed Tristan manages to find shadow. We haven't seen her in ages, and she's a leopard that I have really, really missed. I can't even remember the last time I saw shadow. It was probably... I can't remember the last time I saw shadow. It was a long time ago. So I've come to the marula tree on quarantine in the hope of scavenging more marulas, but unfortunately somebody else has got here first. It seems as though the elephants have decided to eat all of them, and then wandered off in this direction. And you can actually, we were speaking about this on the last bushwalk I did, you can actually physically see the path that they've walked along. Here. Here we go. This path is very, very clearly a path that the elephants used. They've moved along here. Now take care, you want to know what other fruits we get in this area. Do we get coconuts or mangoes or anything like bananas? South Africa has a very, very... the word I'm looking for? Gosh, today the brain is not working. It's a very diverse. We'll go with that. Kirsty suggested diverse. We'll go with a diverse agricultural system. This particular area, the farmers grow a lot of mangoes, a lot of citrus, and a lot of, not coconuts, not so much bananas either. If you go towards Zanin, which is a little bit to the west of us, to the west of us, you'll actually see there's quite a few. I think it's actually northwest. You'll see there's lots and lots of banana farms around there. Beautiful area, slightly more mountainous. So we've got lots of fruit, different fruits that we grow ourselves. Most of our fruits actually in South Africa we tend to grow ourselves, most of the sort of the normal ones. In the bush though, none of those would be naturally occurring. And the reason I'm standing here looking sort of blankly at this tree is I was hoping the buffalo thorn berries might be around, but they aren't. We also get something called white berries, which is the bush next door to it. But again, not the most fantastic of examples because it's been plucked clean. Now, these are the white berries. We can eat them. They are pretty tasteless, to be honest. I don't know. I don't particularly find them all that engrossing compared to marula fruit. You don't eat the seeds. The seeds make you feel a little bit woozy. So we've got those. We've got jackalberries and we've got guari fruits. What's sour plum? Sour plum's actually really, really nice. I haven't seen that many fruiting. I've never seen a fruiting sour plum on Djuma, and I have seen a few sour plums themselves though. Sour plum. What else am I forgetting? I'm sure I'm forgetting something obvious. Marulas, jackalberries. No, I'll have to think about it while I do. Brent's got one of the most entertaining birds.
There we go, a black-bellied bustard. Oh, it's scuttling off. He got shy. Poor little guy. Well, there we go, black-bellied bustard. It's another one for the list. So we're carrying on. I can't see any sign of quarantine crossing this boundary yet. So there's a very strong possibility he's still to the south of us. But I am checking all the big marula trees. As we know, he does like to relax in there. So there's a couple of nice ones on this side here. Now it's quite interesting. So I think he's actually booted Shivambalan properly. And Shivambalan has maybe possibly moved further into the Kruger Park, and all the male leopard tracks we're seeing in the area at the moment are all quarantine and lead to quarantine. No sign of Shivambalan. Now we're going to go back past those Birminghams, but I don't think I'm going to get moving yet. But I just wanted to go check for that male cheetah that Tristan had. He might be on one of those open areas further to the south, but like wild dogs, one of the biggest threats to cheetah is lions. So if they catch a whiff of a lion, they tend to try and skedaddle as fast as possible. Whew. Now Ian's asking how many lion prides are on this reserve. Well, the two female prides that we see regularly are the Inkahumas, who are actually up to the north at the moment, but I heard there were tracks coming south, so maybe they might be on Djuma tomorrow morning. The Inkahumas and the Styx Pride, who are actually just inside this property to the south of us. And then we occasionally see the Tsalala Pride and the Mangan Pride. So what are we on? 4. I know about the I've seen the Talamati Pride in Buffelshoek, that's 5. And then we have the Torchwood Pride, which I've never seen, which is number 6. And that's just in the northern areas, and maybe possibly right in the far northwest, the Ottawa Pride. Now, those are just in the northern Sabi Sand, so there's 7 prides here. Now I'm trying to think about other prides that we don't see, that are down to the south. Okay, and I know there's some of our viewers keep a close eye on all the lion prides in the area, and you can tell me how many are missing. My brother works at a reserve in the south, so I know about the southern pride. and I used to work at a reserve to the south, and where we used to have the Sparta Pride or the Ifield Pride, depending. They had two names. And let me try to think now. What other prides do I know about? I think I'm missing. So there's 9, but I'm sure there's a few more. So if anyone knows how many prides of lions there are in the Sabi Sands, let me know. I can think of 9, but I'm sure I'm missing 1 or 2. If you know. Oh, Shimungwes, 10. Around 10. I don't even know if the Shimungwes are still alive though. And they had a really tough time of it over the last while. Oh, there we go. All 3 heads are up on those Birmingham boys. Oh, 2 heads are up now. 1 head's gone down. So I saw 3 heads. So just 1 head still up. Now look at that. How's that for a disappearing big cat? And are we gonna have a 3rd disappearing head? So there's 1 either side of the male that's still up. Now, of course, I'm only been referring to female prides. There comes a car. And we can't see. Okay. Oh, we're going to keep going. I'm going to see if I can find that cheetah while we continue to look for that. The Birminghams look like they might be moving a little bit, so I'm doing another loop here. But it seems like Tristan has forgotten about the feathers, and he's found something else with fur and spots. And I don't even know what it is. Let's go find out.
Well, Brent, it does have fur and it does have spots. And it is indeed Shadow. So those guinea fowl alarm calling was her. She managed to walk past those guinea fowl, and one of the vehicles picked her up just in front of us. So our senses when it came to the guinea fowl was very spot on. And isn't it amazing to find her? Now, I'm hoping, I haven't been able to see her very nicely because she was lying on that branch, but I want to see her very carefully when she comes past to see if she does have suckle marks. And wouldn't it be incredible if she took us to the den site this afternoon? That would be absolutely amazing. So we're going to just try to see when she comes past. She's busy sniffing around there. I don't know, maybe there's another leopard that's walked here at some point that she's smelling. So you can see she's had her head down sniffing, and I can't see her belly very nicely at all. So tough to see, but we'll just keep looking, and just hopefully she'll walk into a clearing that I can actually see her. But I'm really excited to catch up with her. I was hoping that we would find her, and when I heard those guinea fowl alarm calling, I was convinced that it could be one of these cats. Like I said, even Tingana also moves around in this area, but I was really hoping it would be her. I'm just going to try and quickly just position ourselves a little bit forward, because she seems like she's picked up a scent of something there and is sniffing quite a lot. So let's just try and get in here. So, welcome back guys. Sorry, we had a slight picture breakup there, but it does happen. We're in an area that's a little bit difficult, so hopefully wherever she goes, if her den site is around and she does have cubs, that we can be able to keep going with her. But it looks like she's actually now eating grass, so this is quite a common thing for cats to do. They often eat the grass just to help with the digestive tract, so as they eat it, helps them to clean everything out. And let's have a look at that belly now. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like it's difficult to see, but it does look like there's a bit of matting of fur there. So it does look like she does have suckle marks, which is great news. So it means that in all likelihood she could be going back to her den. It's that time of the day that she might head there, especially if she's been out hunting the whole day. Then she could potentially start looking to go back to the cubs to feed them. Obviously it could be the opposite way around. She could be going out to hunt and has been with the cubs the whole day. But where her tracks came from the south and were coming up this way, and now she's turned off and gone straight west into this area. And this is where we thought she had her den, is along these drainage systems that are on our west and northern side. So the first time we ever saw her kind of going and looking like she was about to give birth, this is where she headed. So we are in the right area. The only problem is it's getting very dark now. So the problem with this is that the problem with cubs is that obviously at the age that they will be, which would be now, I think those cubs would probably be about 4.5 weeks old. We just gone into a little warthog hole, so we have to just get out of that quickly. We good there, Dave?
Yeah, all good.
So with this long grass, sometimes quite difficult to see these holes that are in the grass here. So every now and then you just get a tire going down, which does happen, but it's okay. But yeah, I believe a lot of you are very excited to see Shadow, so the first of Karula's offspring. And she's had such bad luck with cubs that I'm really hoping that this time she gets it right and she's able to successfully produce and raise her cubs to adulthood. And isn't she beautiful? That's amazing. It's such a nice picture that she's posing so nicely on that fallen over tree, and the reason she's doing that is to try to get a little bit of height to be able to see what's going on. So walking through this long grass, you can see she can't see much over that grass, so these fallen over trees are the perfect things to be able to go up onto and then look around and see, okay, is there anything that is around, is there any predators, any prey items that I could potentially hunt. So a really good place to go. Now there is another big fallen over tree coming up, and I think she's going to head to that, so I'm going to try and just loop around there quickly and see if we can maybe just get in front of her. So let's see. There's a big fallen over marilla, and there we go. She's gone straight up it. And there we go. So she's just using that to look around, and she seems like she's spotted something, and judging by that tummy you can see she's looking a little bit thin, so she definitely does need a meal at some point. And if she does have cubs, with the milk that she'll be producing, it will cause her to utilize so much more of the nutrients she's getting, and so she'll be having to feed a lot more often. I still can't see 100% if she's got milk and suckle marks. It's kind of the angle that we're at is just not working for us, but I'm hoping she's going to go up another fallen over tree like this, and then I'll be able to try and position in a way that I can actually see what's going on there. But you can see lots of scent marking that she's doing as well, which is fairly typical. And she's been quite elusive of late. She hasn't really been seen very much, which is typical of her when she goes into this stage of her life. When she starts breeding, she often does this as she has cubs. She becomes a lot harder to find as she first has them, and then once the cubs are actually fairly mobile, then she actually becomes quite easy. She's then doesn't live up to her name at all. She becomes a lot easier to find. She seems to relax with cubs rather than the other way around, which is quite strange. It looks like she's going to go back to that tree. There we go. But isn't she beautiful? She's such a small little girl in comparison to some of the others, and even her mom. I always forget how little she is until I see her. And I wonder if Shongile is going to be a similar size. Even now, Shongile is quite a small girl. I wonder if she's going to be very similar to her sister this. You can see she's still eating quite a bit of grass. Let's see, she looks like she's going to just come around the back of us here. Beautiful. So she's just walking around the back of the vehicle at this stage, which is amazing. It's always so special to be so close to these big cats. Okay, so we're going to follow her for a little bit, and because it's getting quite dark, we're just going to go back to Jamie so she can say her goodbyes, and then be back with us and see where she goes.
We are indeed going to say goodbye because whilst Viam's torch is very useful for illuminating the inside of the termite mound, it's not going to keep us safe as it starts to get a little bit darker out here. So it's most definitely time for us to be saying our farewells. One last thing is just to show you the inside of this termite mound. Very cool. Okay, one last thing, Viam. Can we just do this caterpillar because it's confusing me? It's confounding me. Oh, it's moved. Never mind. When I first looked at this caterpillar was on top of all of those squiggly wiggly things. And I have no idea what the squiggly wiggly things are. I didn't even realize they were alive. I actually thought the caterpillar was spinning a cocoon. But now there's the seething mass of larvae of some kind. Some description. I don't know. Please take some screenshots quickly. For me, please. So that I can send them to Steph and to Lee Guttridge. And they can tell me what on earth the squiggly wiggly things are. I thought they were going to attack that caterpillar. But clearly not. Fascinating. Here we go. So that's it. On that note, it's time for us to say goodbye to you all and head back to the safety of camp. So a big thank you to Viam and to Herbie, who's exploring something else at the moment, and to all of you for joining us. We will catch you later on the Sunrise Safari, but until we do, have fun with, what are their names again? Tristan and Brent. Bye-bye, everybody.
So we will have fun, Jamie. I hope everybody else is having fun. Like I say, with Shadow and any leopard is always fun. It's always good to be with them, and it's such a good time of day to be with a leopard. Careful your head here, Dave. I've got some low-hanging foliage. Got it? Alright, cool. Just trying not to decapitate Dave as we follow through here. Lost visual of her for now, but she was heading in this general direction, and there's another fallen over tree just in front of us, so I'm hoping that's where she's kind of heading to. So I'm just going to go and position ourselves there and hope that's where she's going to come out. Oh, yeah, she is. She's just on our left, so she should come straight towards this tree. I'm hoping she will. Wouldn't it be nice if she goes into that low branch? There she is. She's just on our left-hand side here. So here she comes. So there's a nice marula that she's coming up to now, and I'm hoping she's going to jump into the lowest branch here. It's a perfect horizontal branch. It would be really nice if she went up into it, but I don't think so. I think she's going to walk past it. It's unfortunately not the right angle. Had it been sloping the other way, I think she might have gone up it, but it seems to be sloping the wrong way for her. So let's see. Okay, come on, girl. No, she's going to walk straight past it. So even the best laid plans can sometimes fail. I was, like I say, hoping that she was going to go there. There's another little tree that she's coming up to now that she might just put her paws on and go up. She's just going over that one. So, Nigel, that is an interesting question. So Nigel's asked why Shadow has been so unsuccessful and why she's lost so many cubs. I think there's quite a few sort of reasons for it. One is she's been in an area where she's been on the overlap between different males, so she's had to deal with quite a number of males that have always been on the fringes of her area. So she's had, Tingana and Mvula for a long time that were on the edges. There was Mafufanyan before that had an edge with Mvula, and she was kind of in the middle of that, and the Jordan male. So she's really been on the fringes all the time, and so that means that these other males tend to drift into her territory, find her with the cubs and kill them. Also, we've had males in this area that haven't really been that good for cubs. Tingana, even though he's been around and he mates a lot. He's killed his fair share of cubs, even ones that we think that he's produced. And then before him, Mafufunyan did it a few times too. So she's had that problem. We also have a very high percentage of hyenas in the area that we're in at the moment. So we have hyenas that are on the Djuma side at the den that we have there, and then there's hyenas on the Elephant Plains den. So she's stuck between those two clans. So lots of hyenas in the places that she dens. And then maybe she's just unfortunately picks bad den sites. So she seems to always get them past us sort of the first 2 months, and then she ends up losing them. So maybe she's just choosing bad places, and unfortunately that's why hyenas and other leopards and lions are finding them and killing them. Alright, so we're going to continue to follow her. We're going to go back to Brent, who I believe has got the Birmingham Boys with some rather large company.
So there we go. It's going to be very interesting to watch what happens. Now, if the elephants keep moving in the direction they're moving, they are going to get the scent of the lions. They probably need to go... Oh, is that a lion head up? Am I imagining? No, I'm imagining. It's a gori bush. No, elephants, come towards me. Then you'll get their scent and you can chase them. And you can chase them to Cheetah Plains. Now, the elephants actually have to come slightly more towards us to get their scent. If they continue in that direction, they might not pick up the lion's scent. Ooh, no, Ellies, you were going in the perfect direction to catch their scent. And if there's one thing that can wake up a slumbering male lion, it's 3,500 kilograms of irritated pachyderm. As you can see, very, very much slumbering. Oh, there we go. They've changed direction again. Did they pick up scent? It looks to be a little bit more purpose to their walk. I think they might have just caught a whiff of those lions. Look at her smelling. Just come out a little bit. Let's just keep both in shot in case the Ellies charge. So the elephants are heading quite close to the lions now. You can just see their tails flicking. No, maybe she didn't get their scent. Maybe they just decided to change direction. So they're not going to get the scent if they walk there. They need to come, maybe, I'm trying to guess the distance there. Not far. Oh, there's a trunk up. Oh, there's a lion head moving. Now, the lions might choose to stay very low to the ground. I think that one elephant picked up the movement. Yes, it's picked up the movement. Heads up. Oh, there we go. Now, this is very interesting. Now, watch the elephant behavior here. Oh, there we go. 3 heads up now. The lions even look like they're ready to run. Elephants seem to have decided, they're quite strangely, that they're not too much of a threat. Maybe because it's so open. Well, is that little Ellie interaction going to prompt the Birmingham boys to have a stretch? Have an evening ablution? Oh, there's Mfumo. Just zoom. Now, we've seen the pictures. I think that's Mfumo. I think I can see a scar on the right-hand lion's eye. Oh, he's turned now. And he's back to sleep. Oh, I was so hoping the Ellies were going to chase them towards us. Okay, well, we're going to sit right here, see what pans out. While we do that, let's go back to Tristan with Shadow.
So Shadow is still moving quite quickly through this block. It's proving to be quite tough to follow her. Lots of fallen over trees. It's not an easy area to keep up with her. But she's just kind of walking parallel with us, and there is a nice termite mound just to our right, oh, she's changed direction. There was a beautiful termite mound to our right that I was hoping she was going to go to, but let's see how she goes. She's just sniffing around there and having a look. So, unfortunately, you can see the camouflage that she has, pretty incredible. Amazing camouflage when they get in. Alright, so we're going to quickly go back to Brent, who I believe has got some action on his side.
Oh, well, the Ellies changed their mind and have chased the Birminghams. As you can see, they're up to the right of the screen, and they're the Ellies coming in from the left. It's going to be interesting to see how far they chase them. Now, a lot of people seem to think that lions are the king of the jungle, the African savannah. Now, here we have 3 of the baddest bruisers in the bush, and they are put to shame by a female. So it is very obvious who is the true king of the African bush, as the Birminghams try to keep as much distance between the elephants and themselves. There we go. Oh, come a little bit further north. Come towards me. Let's turn around, check where the elephants are. Come on, Ellies, give them one more good chase towards us. Now, before the elephant actually started chasing them, the Birmingham boys were up and on the move. Oh, there we go. They're going to escort them further. Oh, there we go. And the lions are running. There. Oh! Brrr. Okay, we need to move. Oh no! My car won't start. These Ellies are getting quite serious about chasing these Birmingham boys. I'm just going to try to get into a spot where I think they're going to come out. Hold on! I'm trying to see where the Ellies are. Oh, there's a big bump. Hold on, Craig. I don't want to lose my first cameraman. So they chased them into these thickets here. I keep half expecting to see a Birmingham boy bolting across the road. I just want to get to the top of the ridge, and I'm going to park so I can see up and down the road. Trying to listen as well. Okay, so I've got vantage points in both directions. I just want to listen now to see if we can hear. No sound of the elephants just yet. Elephants are truly the kings of the African bush. A male lion doesn't even stand a chance against a teenage elephant. Although there are certain prides of lions in Africa that specialize in teenage elephants, but only bulls away from the herds. It's quite an eerie calm at the moment. Those lions might have gone into some thickets, thought they've lost the elephants, but quite often what elephants will do is sniff them out. Keep chasing them. How exciting. Okay. We're going to move a little bit further to the east again. see if we can see where the Birminghams are. Now, the grass is quite long, so it could make it quite difficult to see. And our plan worked out today. Hi, Debbie, who's in Vancouver, would like to know how fast were the Ellies moving in that chase. Well, I think they didn't quite get up to full speed, but I think they were easily doing 40 kilometers an hour. Now, the lions started running a long way before the elephants really decided to chase them. So they had a head start, which always helps. Okay, as you saw, there were a couple of other vehicles out here, so I'm going to try figure out what's going on. While we do that, let's go back to Tristan and Shadow.
So we're back with her, but she's gone into a little thicket, so we can't actually see her too nicely. There she comes now. She's just starting to come out. So I wonder if she's not going to go. There's a nice termite mound right behind me here, so hopefully she's going to come and sit on that termite mound. That would be quite nice. Seems like she likes Dave because she keeps going behind the vehicle. So there we go. Looks like she's heading towards that mound, and it would be so spectacular if she goes up the mound. It's going to be really, really beautiful. See, she just stopped to listen. So I'm just going to quickly reposition ourselves so that we can actually see if she does. So hold on, guys. Just turning slightly. No, so she's going to just bypass the termite mound, which is quite typical of her. So you can see she's just gone straight behind us there. So we're going to try and see if we can just get around the mound. So while we reposition, we're going to go back to Brent and see what the Birminghams are up to.
Cheetah planes open. There we go, look at this. They've managed to avoid the angry Ellies, and here come the Birmingham boys. Now, I can't really see who's who just yet. There's one still coming at the back. Oh, that's not Tinyo closest to us. But we've still got, I think, Mfumo on his way. Yes, it is Mfumo. Can see the wound in his eye. Now, that's a new one. Oh, he's in the walls, eh, boy? Now, whether he's got that from fighting with other males or fighting with his brother, we're never going to know, unfortunately. He's got a couple of bite marks in his shoulder as well. So he's going to pass right next to Craig. So he's got a wound on his shoulder. Okay, let's stick with them. Oh, quick scent mark. Oh, lucky we went too close. Now, believe it or not, I have been scent marked by a male lion before. Right. So exciting, the Birmingham boys have come back. Now it's going to be really interesting to hear what happens with the Matimbas and how far they actually managed to get. There we go. There's the authority. Looking a little worse for wear. Now, let me get into the right gear. There we go. No, maybe second. Oh, it doesn't look like they're going very far before napping. They just wanted to get away from those Ellies. Oh, they're having a drink. Let's get around to the right side. I didn't even see that pan here. Now, Cheetah Plains has had so much more rain than we have at Djuma. We have to be careful we don't end up getting stuck. That wouldn't be ideal, stuck next to 3 male lions having a drink. Let me just get around in front of them. Yeah, now see, you can see how the grass changes. I think that's about as close as I can get without getting stuck in the mud. Listen to that. The thirsty boys. As I said, I haven't had a chance to ID the other two lions apart from Mfumo. You can see, you can barely even see there's water in here. The grass is so high. That sound is incredible. Worried about the elephants coming back. Just listen to how thirsty they are. It has been a really hot day. Oh, who's that? Does that look like Nena? Oh, I can't really see. I'm not looking too full. Not starving, but definitely could enjoy a meal. Well, he could. Let's have a look at the other two now. Jilly would like to know how old these boys are. They're between 6 and 7 years old, Jilly. Oh, here comes... Who is this now? I think... Is this Nena or Tsuku? Yeah, I think that's Nena. I haven't said... There's Mfumo. Wait till he turns his head. There we go. Oh, you can see that wound. Oh, suddenly realised that there's still water in front of him. Is he going to go for it? Oh, he's found a way around. Now you can see that wound on his eye. Oh, he's been in a big scrap. And there comes Tinyo. And Shamal, you're spot on. Mfumo, Nana, and Tinyo. Okay, they've gone right behind us. Alright. They've gone right behind us to flop over and sleep. Now, hopefully, I don't get stuck in the mud. Well, we're going to try find a spot to have a better view of these boys who are sleeping behind us. While we do that, Tristan's got something that keeps, or tries to keep, far away from 3 male lions.
What a beautiful moon it is this evening. There's a bit of a hazy kind of cloud cover and it's making this incredible halo, and it's absolutely incredible this evening. So it's been really nice. And just below these, well, the moon, just to complete the setting, is 2 beautiful buffalo bulls that are just wallowing in a pan here. So there they are, and they're just having a nice little wallow. We came past them earlier when we were tracking shadow, and they were very nonchalantly lying in the mud and enjoying themselves and having a day at the spa. And now that it's starting to get a bit dark, one at least has gotten up and is starting to move. The other one has decided that it is still too hot and still too warm, and there are still too many biting flies around, so the water it is for him. must be the perfect place on a day like today. And now that it's started to get dark, the wind has dropped and it's become really muggy. It's quite humid. I'm sure this cloud cover that we have over us is just adding to that humidity. But it is a scene that is really, really, really pretty. Like I say, that moon is just adding so much atmosphere to this. And knowing that we have a leopard a few hundred meters behind us with these two buffalo, it's just quite incredible. Not too many better ways to end the day, that's for sure. So we left Shadow carrying on. She was still highly mobile and it was just getting really too thick to follow her. And given that it's dark, we wouldn't be able to even view the cubs if she did go to them. So better just to leave her and definitely try and follow up on her tomorrow. But isn't that moon amazing? You can see it perfectly. So it's still just slightly waxing. It's getting a little bit bigger. So a few more days till full moon and then it will be absolutely incredible. Alright, so that is all from us this evening, from myself, Tristan and Dave. We'd just like to say thanks very much for joining us. It's been a great afternoon, we've really enjoyed it, and we're going to go back to Brent and the Birminghams to finish.
Yeah. Look at this, Mfumo's really been in the wars, and I'm not seeing too many scars on the other two, so I wonder if he had a fight with possibly Mtsugu over mating rights at the sticks. Now, Safari Live fan would like to know who is bigger, the Matimbas or the Birminghams? Are those elephants coming back? I thought I heard a branch break. Well, I think, very difficult to say. I'd say the Matimbas are possibly slightly bigger. Oh, look at that wound. Let's just try to get a bit closer in on that one on his eye there, Craig. Let's go right in. Now, oh, that looks quite bad. Now, he's very lucky. It hasn't actually hit his eye. So his eye is still fine. It's just, see, there we go. See, his eye is still perfectly fine. It's just, it looks like a claw has split open his bottom eyelid. Now, as I said, look at his face now. And there's a bite mark on his nose, also on his cheek there. There's another one up on top of his head, where the brightest part of the spotlight is. And there's some more on his. See, there's another open wound there. And there's some more on his shoulders that we can't see presently. Now, this could easily have been with a fight with one of the other Birminghams, but it could also easily have been with another male, maybe with those Matimbas. Who knows? What do lions get up to while we're in bed? Now, it's a really tough thing for a male lion. Life is hard out here, and they're constantly at war. Oh, elephants. Okay, I need to move back a bit. Now, you got to be very careful. Sometimes you get into the wrong position and you get misplaced aggression. Now, because it's dark and I can't see as well, I'm just going to give myself a little bit of space from the lions and see where those Ellies are coming from. And now, they could be chasing something else. They sound really, really upset. They could just be still looking for the Birmingham boys. Woof! Angry Eddies. Just listen. Oh, the little one. Okay, well, it seems like the Eddies have moved off. We're coming into the last little bit of the show. What an exciting and amazing show. Hasana, the Talalas, Shadow, the Birminghams being chased by elephants. Wow. Well, you know what we say out here. Another tough day in the office. And I'm incredibly thankful my office is this wilderness wonderland. And I can't wait to do it all again with you guys. Bright and early tomorrow morning, and it's going to be fascinating to see where these Birmingham boys end up, and are those Matimbas in trouble. So from Batman and myself and the rest of the Safari Live crew, it's been splendid. See you in the morning.